Hello Internet, as you can see I'm currently shooting at the K-Talk station, and as you can probably also see I'm having to shoot this review on my phone in order to make sure that it actually comes out on time. So if you're wondering why it actually sounds like it's recorded using decent audio, it's because I also happen to have my audio recorder with me, so yeah, we'll see how this works. Now, before you ask, no, I don't know why I'm reviewing another Nicholas Sparks movie. Really, it was the only other screening I was able to go to this week, so it's kind of the case of beggars can't be choosers. Now, it's one of those cases where I've made my biases about romance films clear in the past, but I stand by the philosophy that any good film should be able to pull you into the story regardless of the subject matter. Now, when it comes to The Longest Ride, well, half of the movie is good, but then the other half is the typical Nicholas Sparks fare that we've all come to expect. What I mean by this earlier statement is that there's this through line, and it's the story of Ira and Ruth that actually does a good job of carrying the film, and in my opinion should have been the focus of the film proper, because it tells this nice story about this couple that goes through hardships. They live through World War II and beyond. They deal with a lot of various hardships, and it ends on a nice message that's actually pretty insightful about the nature of relationships. But then you have the other half of the film that is basically your typical city girl falls in love with a country guy sort of storyline, and it does the usual love means sacrifice sort of storyline, and then has this really stupid, super contrived ending where everybody just gets what they want in such a roundabout way that it makes Sierra adventure games make sense. I mean, does Nicholas Sparks just not like having ambiguous endings? Does he just like to have everything end on a super sweet, happy note where everybody is happy and nobody's really learned anything? I mean, really? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that the younger couple's supposed to kind of represent history repeating itself, or more or less a second chance. But really, as characters, they shouldn't have been the main focus, because really, the more interesting story was with Ira and Ruth, and so really they should have diminished the roles of these younger characters, because literally a lot of the moments they have are just the typical rom-com, well, not really rom-com, but the typical romantic film cliches that just don't add anything to the story whatsoever. And I understand if you wanted to make a film about professional bull riding, this was not the way to do it. I mean, really, have any of the people who made this film ever seen Rocky? It kind of provides a pretty good template for making a movie about any frickin' sport whatsoever. As a result, the guy character, I don't even remember his name, that's how forgettable he is, just comes across as two-dimensional. It's the usual guy who has an ambition that nobody's gonna stop him from, but then when he finally achieves his goal, he's suddenly like, but it doesn't really matter, she matters more. I mean, come on, people. Not to mention the ending that I mentioned that is super contrived completely undermines the theme they went out of their way to establish with the Ira and Ruth storyline. The film had some good drama, even with the younger characters. I can give it that much, but it just felt kind of desperate how it was injecting those other scenes in order to appeal to a younger audience, and by that I mean kind of a teenage audience. Now, maybe they struck a better balance in the original novel? I wouldn't know, because I haven't read it. There's not really much else to say in regards to the technical aspects of the film. I mean, yeah, I kind of liked the sepia tone they gave the scenes that took place in the 40s because it evoked that sense of nostalgia, but that's pretty much it. There wasn't really anything else that was memorable about the cinematography, about the soundtrack, or really anything else in this film. Overall, there was the makings of a really good film here. I mean, if they had diminished the roles of the younger characters in favor of the Ira and Ruth storyline, then this would have been a really good film. It would have been almost kind of like a feature-length version of the opening of Up. But instead, it's just held back by the usual trappings of a Nicholas Sparks story. Now, again, if you're a fan of Nicholas Sparks, more power to you. You'll probably enjoy the film more than I did. But as is, I would only really recommend seeing this film at a dollar theater if you actually want to see it in theaters, or on Netflix, or on a DVD, just on some sort of medium that allows you to fast forward through the stupid parts. Because really, there are some good scenes here. It's just, again, undermined by just a lot of the usual crap. So, all of that said, I give The Longest Ride a 3.5 out of 5. Again, there were some good story bits here, but it's just held back by all the same stuff we see in a lot of romance films. I mean, granted, at least it's not set in a high school with annoying teenagers, but a lot of the same stuff that we see in every romance film is what's holding this film back from being great. It's good. If you like Nicholas Sparks, you'll probably enjoy it, and it has some good moments, but that doesn't really warrant paying full price to see this film. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on The Longest Ride, and that will bring this special episode of Romney's Reviews to a close. Let me know what you think of this really slapdash, haphazard method in which I'm recording this review. But, well, I'll see you all next time, hopefully with a better camera setup.